Hey friends, it's Cherie, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a sewing catch-up with you. But first, if you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you're a returning person, thank you so much for your continued support. All right, let's get into it. Friends, I have a lot of information for you today. The first thing that I'm gonna do is unbox my IndieStitch subscription. Then I'm going to share with you the things that I picked up to support my sewing craft during the Amazon deal days. I'll also give you some information about my next finished fall garment for my fall capsule wardrobe. It is a muslin, a wearable muslin, but it still is very cute, and I'm going to give you the details about that. And then lastly, I'm going to share with you some things that I picked up today. So let's first jump into the unboxing, shall we? This is my IndieStitch box for the month of October. It's actually a really good size one. And if you're not familiar with IndieStitch, IndieStitch is a monthly sewing subscription service where you receive a sewing project every single month. It is a garment, and it includes all the notions that you need to complete the project, the pattern itself, as well as some additional sewing goodies. I have been so happy with my subscription service so far. Every month I receive something really cool, and because it's fall, the box just got better, and I only know it's gonna get even better over the months because it's the best value during the fall and winter because you get those warm, cozy fabrics that are generally more expensive, all for the same price that you would normally pay monthly. So I'm really excited. It's really great value for this box. And IndieStitch always has really beautiful fabrics. So this one's a good one. I've already peeked at it. I'm going to show you everything in the box. The first thing that you have in the box is an information card, and this is what it looks like. So on the front side, it tells you everything you need to know about the pattern itself and who the designer is. It also gives you information on how to access the PDF version of the pattern and the instructions. It also has a QR code that will take you directly to a sew along so that you can sew along with Amber of IndieStitch when you're making the project that's in the box. On the back of the card, it tells you everything that's in the box. So you get to know what the fabric choices were, what the colored thread options were. You get to see information about each of the little extras that are in the box. So this is very useful. I've already printed the instructions for the pattern that's in this box. It is the Sonia Step Designs Emma sweatshirt, and this is what it looks like. I like this pattern a lot, which is why I've already printed the instructions. I'm eager to sew this one up. This one has 5 different views, and you have the option of doing like a bishop sleeve sweatshirt that's cropped. You can also do another cropped sweatshirt that has a hood and elastic in the waist. You can do a sweatshirt that has a ribbed hemband with straight sleeves. That option also comes with a hood. So lots of different versions that you can mix and match in order to create this. So I'm excited to make this sweatshirt. The instructions are not super thick, so I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. And I'm excited about that. The fabric in the box is so cozy and soft. I chose to do a waffle knit fabric. And one of the things that I love about IndieStitch is that they include a little label that gives you the information about your fabric, what the fabric content is, how to care for it, etc. So this particular fabric is a brushed waffle knit that is 89% polyester, 9% rayon, and 2% spandex, which results in the softest fabric. It's so beautiful, and it's in this really great heather gray shade, and it's not super thick, so it is going to be breathable and comfortable, but it's so soft and it feels very luxurious. I'm happy about this selection. I can't wait to wash it up and make my sweatshirt out of it. So it is a sweatshirt pattern, but it's going to fit and wear like a sweater because this is sweater fabric. It's going to be beautiful, and because of the color, it's going to go with so many different things in my wardrobe, and I'm really pleased about the quality of this fabric. I'll put it up close so that you can see the weave on it or the waffle on it, but it's super soft and gorgeous, and I really can't wait to get started sewing on this project. Here, let me turn it so that you can see both sides, the inside and the outside. Really beautiful fabric. The next thing in the box are these really gorgeous vintage looking scissors. This is what they look like. So pretty. Look at that awesome detail on the handles of these scissors. So pretty. This is an embroidery snip. It's rose gold, and it's fabulous. I think this is so pretty. If nothing else, It could be something very decorative in your sewing room if you don't plan to use them, like if you already have your favorite pair of embroidery snips. But I don't have one quite this beautiful, so I actually might use it and display it. So really beautiful pair of scissors. There's also this swatch band here, and this is a magic wrist pin cushion. I have always wanted one of these, and the reason why I wanted one is because a lot of times I walk back and forth from my sewing table to my ironing board, and when I'm sewing my hems, I always will press over there and wish I had something to put my pins on rather than bringing over my large magnetic pin holder. So if I could put my hemming pins on this wristband, I don't have to carry something back and forth from the sewing station to my ironing board. So I'm really excited to have this, and I love that it's a bright, beautiful pink. The next thing in the box is the thread, which is this gorgeous heather gray thread. And the needle size, it comes with 2 ballpoint flat shank needles, and these are an 80-12 size. So I'm really happy there's 2 needles, and the thread is the perfect match. The next thing in the box is the elastic, and while this is optional because there's different views in the pattern, I think it's really nice that they include this, and it will allow you to put it in the wrist cuffs for the bishop sleeve option. And I'm not sure about the measurement for the waistband elastic if you do that version, but you might be able to use this for that as well. It's a good amount of elastic. Lastly in the box, there is the pattern, and it is a very nice pattern. The paper is always really nice with IndieStitch patterns. The only thing that I don't love right off the bat is that all the sizes are black, but as you can see, they're all different dashed lines. So it will probably be easy for you to pick out your size. And what I like to do when my patterns come like this is I will take a highlighter and highlight my size so that it's easier for cutting and I don't accidentally cut the wrong size. So really nice thick paper, and I'm excited to get started on this project. That was everything that was in the IndieStitch box for this month. This sweatshirt's gonna be beautiful. If you are interested in signing up with IndieStitch, or at least learning more information about the subscription, do use the link below. It is an affiliate link, so I will get a small commission from your purchase. All the money that I earn from this channel goes back into my channel so that I can continue to create content for you. So anyway, use the link if you want to. That was everything that I received from IndieStitch. Let me share with you what I got for the Amazon Deal Days. It was really important for me to pick up some tools that I have been eyeballing for a while on Amazon and just hadn't pulled the trigger on. There were so many things that I could purchase from Amazon, but I really wanted to focus on things that I really wanted that are practical. So I got things that will hopefully improve my sewing. The first thing that I picked up is actually a 2-pack of Beechwood Tailor Clapper, and these are professional sewing tools that you can use when creating the perfect hems. So basically you create your hem, and right after you press it, you set this on top of that pressed area. It actually flattens it even more than if you would just run the iron on it, and it absorbs some of the heat in the fabric. So I really like this. I also like that in addition to coming in 2 different sizes, it actually has a ruler marking at the bottom. So it helps you if you need to measure as you're pressing. So this is a really cool tool that I have been eyeballing. And then the next thing that I got is actually a fit book. This is Fast Fit, Easy Pattern Alterations for Every Figure. And this is a book that had lots of really good comments and recommendations on it. So I wanted to give this a try. This normally is about $35 and I got it for about $15. So that was a great deal. There's some other books that I wanted to purchase that I did not purchase because of the price and they weren't on sale, but I really want to get into pattern drafting, and so I definitely need some books that are going to teach me how to create my sloper and how to create patterns from a sloper. So I will be on the market for that. If you have any book recommendations, please do list them below so that I can check them out. I definitely want to have recommendations from you that you've actually read and used that were great. Please don't recommend anything that you haven't read or used because I don't want to waste money. Quite a few of the books that I've been looking at are actually textbooks from fashion institutions, and I am definitely not looking forward to spending that much money on them. I will check my local library though to see if they have them so that I can play around with some stuff before I actually invest in purchasing those books. But this is my first step in at least being able to alter sewing patterns to fit my body better. The next thing that I got is a set of buttons, and these are really beautiful brown buttons, and I purchased these because, as you can see in the background there, I made my husband's jacket for our anniversary and it needed buttons. And these are just so cool because not only do they come in several different shades of brown, but they come in different sizes. So I can have a large button down the button placket in the front that matches the smaller pocket buttons and wrist cuff buttons, and they're all the same colors and swirls, so it's all going to be cohesive and beautiful, and I'm excited about this kit. This kit was on sale. I want to say it was like $14. So another thing that I picked up that I actually don't have yet, it's still on its way, is I got a set of really nice Tailor pattern designing rulers. So it has the French curve rulers, and they're the large ones that are great for drafting pants, and that's what I'm really looking forward to doing. So I definitely have sewing rulers in my stash, but I wanted the large rulers that would make it easier for me to create my own patterns. So I don't know if I'm gonna be really great at it, but I definitely wanted to be able to have the tools to start tinkering around with it. And this is actually a 15-piece clear ruler set, and it comes with some additional things like tracing wheels and scissors. I'll insert a picture so that you can see the kit that I picked up. And it was actually on a great deal. And no, this is not the high quality professional grade thick heavy duty rulers. These are a plastic thinner ruler. I read the reviews, but I think that's perfect for what I'm going to be using it for, and who knows, I might not even enjoy making my own patterns. So I don't want to invest a ton of money in rulers without knowing whether or not I will use them to tailor and to create my own patterns in the future. So I think it's a neat little set, and even though some of the things I already have, it's okay. I can either gift those things or just save them as backups. So I definitely had to pick that up. The next item that I picked up is something that I am absolutely loving. I've already been using it, and it is the HONEYSEW non-slip foot control pad sewing machine foot paddle mat. That is a mouthful. Basically, it is a little floor mat, and if you have an office and you have one of those big pieces of plastic that you put your chair on, and it has those like spiky things on the bottom so it stays on the carpet really nice, but on top it's smooth. Okay, think like that, but it's smaller, and there's like a square in the middle that has a grippy fabric that Velcro sticks to really nicely. So basically you put Velcro on your sewing machine pedal, foot pedal, and you stick it on there, and it keeps your pedal from sliding all over the place. I have been really frustrated with the fact that when I'm sewing, my pedal scoots, right? So this has stopped that. Now it stays in place, and it makes it so much easier to sew my garments. I'm really excited about that. So again, I will insert a picture so that you can see what that looks like. The last thing that I picked up during the Amazon deal days is this really cool 7 brush head spin brush, and basically it is an electric brush that comes with a long pole. I'll insert a picture of it. And you can use this to deep clean your tubs, your shower walls, tiles on the ground, all of that. So I find that I really love the look of a very shiny, fresh, cleaned floor and tub with all the grouts sparkly clean. However, it definitely kills my knees and my back when I'm down there scrubbing by hand. So having a tool like this is going to take some of the pain out of deep cleaning. So I'm excited. I didn't know this thing existed, but when I saw it, I had to get one, especially because it was on a crazy sale. I think it normally retails for like $60, and I ended up getting it for like $35. So I'm really proud about the money saving that I had with that purchase. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you about my wearable muslin. So I can't hold it up for you because I did wear it yesterday, and I shared pictures of it on Instagram, but I'll talk to you about it and then I'll insert some pictures. So I made my very first Blanca flight suit, and this is a closet core pattern. This is what it looks like. I did the long sleeve version. However, I just did the regular square pocket for the chest. I think this is a really fun pattern. I did have some issues with the pattern pieces, and it could be an issue with the fabric that I chose. The fabric that I chose is this really beautiful, lightweight denim fabric that I picked up from Joann. It is that ombre Starburst fabric that I shared with you. I've shared it a couple of times on this channel, and it's really beautiful, soft fabric that is actually a part of their Pop collection. I thought this would be such a fun jumpsuit to put together with all these different colors, and it definitely screamed rainbow to me, so I was excited to sew it up. The issue with this fabric is that it has a bit of stretch to it, and I think that when I cut up my pattern pieces, they actually stretched over time. If you don't know this about me, I batch cut, so I will cut up a bunch of projects, and then that way in the evenings when I'm ready to sew, I can just grab those pre-cut projects and get to sewing them. And so this is one that I had cut, and then it was several days before I actually got around to sewing it. And I think for some of the pieces over time, there was some stretching that happened, because I definitely was careful about how I cut them. When I cut them, I didn't manipulate the fabric when cutting them, because I wanted to make sure that the fabric pieces absolutely matched the pattern pieces. So something happened there, and I'm gonna put the blame on me and not on the pattern designer, but there were some things that happened. The first problem that I encountered is that with the waistband, and I did cut a size 12, no grading, just a straight size 12, I found that once I attached the waistband pieces to the back bodice, that the interfaced piece was much smaller than the width of the back of the jumpsuit. So I had to get creative, and because it was already going to be a bit oversized in the back for me, there's an adjustment that I need to do to fix that. I went ahead and added a row of gathering stitches at the hemline of the back piece in order for it to shrink in and fit the waistband piece, which was much smaller than the actual back piece. When I say much smaller, it was quite a bit of fabric that was hanging off on each side of that waistband when I first tried to attach it. So that fixed that issue, and I was only able to do that because the back was so wide. So that waistband piece did not fit, and I definitely triple checked to make sure that I cut the right size of the back as well as the waistband. It should have fit perfectly. So that was the first thing. The other thing is that I looked at the measurements, and I wanted to make sure that my bust, which we all know here is bustin', okay, would fit in the jumpsuit. So I definitely was careful about choosing my size. However, when I made the jumpsuit without attaching the sleeves, I had tried it on, and I definitely felt as though I needed more fabric here on the side of my bust and under the arms. So one way to fix that would just be to just go ahead and do a full bust adjustment, and that will fix the problem completely. So that was the issue that I had with the bust. But once I added the sleeves on and actually wore it and lived my life all day, I felt like it looked fine. It definitely didn't have extreme pulling. As a matter of fact, I asked my husband, and he's pretty honest. I asked him, does this look too tight on my bust? Like when I move and stuff, does it look awkward or whatever? And he said, no, it looks great. I said, you sure I don't need to go up a size? And he was like, no, it looks really nice. And so I won't worry about it, but I might consider in my final version, which will be out of that cream denim, which was much more expensive, I might consider doing a full bust adjustment just so that I personally feel more comfortable. Also, I'm not sure if that cream fabric has a bit of stretch in it. If it doesn't have stretch, I'll definitely need to do that full bust adjustment so that I don't feel restricted and confined in this area. Like I need to be able to move, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely want to make that adjustment if it's going to make my clothes look nicer and feel more comfortable on my body. So those were the two kind of issues with the pattern. Otherwise, it sewed up beautifully. I enjoyed it so much. I did not include, there is a special tab for the hems of the legs where you can bring in the width of the legs. You guys know me, I like an oversized look. I liked the wide leg look of these pants or the bottom of the jumpsuit. So I chose not to add the tabs, even though I cut them, which was kind of a waste of fabric, but it's okay. I chose to not add them. I just thought it looked good without it. Also, I considered my shoe collection, and I think based off of the shoes that I plan to wear with the jumpsuit, both versions, I preferred to have it loose and wide rather than taking it in. And then what other thing did I do? I already said I didn't include the breast pocket zippers. I chose to do the long sleeve. I don't know, it was a beautiful construction actually. I really enjoyed installing the zipper on this guy. The instructions were still very clear. I loved the additional basting stitches, which I will tell you right now, a year ago, I would be super annoyed with the amount of basting stitches that were necessary in creating this zipper, but it created the most beautiful zipper. And so I'm really happy about how that turned out. Everything was great. I really enjoyed this. The only thing about this pattern that I really want to change, aside from a full bust adjustment, and this is no fault of the pattern, it's just the way that my body is set up, is that I'm going to have to remove about 1/2 inch from the back hem of the back piece. And the reason why is because I have fabric bunching. This tends to happen with me with jumpsuits because I am short-waisted and short-bodied. So back pieces and front pieces tend to be really long because my torso is so short. And so I noticed that when I'm wearing the jumpsuit, and I'll insert a picture so that you can see what I'm talking about, there's a lot of fabric bunching above the waistline and above the belt. So that's something that I'd like to change. Oh, that's another thing. With the belt, I chose to do a tie front belt rather than purchasing a belt hook for the front of the fabric. So it is a tie front belt, but I found that to be fine, and I think it's kind of cute. So yeah, just a couple of fit issues that I had, but I can easily fix those things. Other than that, this is a lovely pattern. It was very therapeutic and fun to put together. I did sew it over 2 evenings when my children were sleeping, and it came out really great. I'm pleased with it, so I think I can go ahead and comfortably move on to making my cream version, which is the final version that I wanted for my fall capsule wardrobe. As it is, even though these are really rainbow in-your-face colors that remind me of Starburst candy, Skittles candy, all the candy, I'm gonna wear it all year round. It's not gonna be something that I'm gonna limit myself to only spring or only summer or whatever. I think it's fun, and I actually haven't received as many compliments in anything as I received when I was wearing this jumpsuit. It definitely gets a lot of attention, which sometimes is hard for me, but it was also kind of fun to be able to say, oh, I made this, when they were like, oh, that's such a cool jumpsuit. I love it. Look at the colors, you know, and I was like, I made this. And they were like, oh my gosh, really? And I said, yeah, last night. Oh gosh, I'm sick of myself already just talking about it, but it was fun to be able to say that. And so I really enjoyed this. I feel like it's a very impressive project once you sew something like this, because most people can't sew, and there's so many cool details about this jumpsuit, especially if you add all the bells and whistles like the zippers on the pockets and all of that, or the cool belt. So give it a try if you're interested. This isn't a detailed pattern review, so I'm not going to walk you through the instructions or all of that, but I can tell you that I enjoyed sewing it. You'll be able to see how it fits on my body with my large bosom, and you can tell how it fits and how it looks, so you can make the determination on if you want to make this yourself. I definitely did purchase the Mimi G pattern that is similar but a little bit more oversized in the top portion, and I think I actually might really want to make that now. Originally I thought I'd save it for another time because I had plans to make this, but the way I enjoyed wearing the version that I had the other day, and the fact that there was a bit of fit issues with this one, I think I might actually try that one, because at least with that one I know ahead of time the alterations I need to make, because it is a big 4, big 5 pattern, and I sew those more often. I think I can already out the box kind of guess what alterations I'll need to make on that one before sewing it up. Whereas this one, I cut this pattern, you guys. So when I cut it and realized that the bust was kind of tight, I was like, uh-oh, it's not like I can cut the next size because I already threw away all the edges, you know. So, and it was expensive. I think the price, is it still on here? I want to say this was like somewhere between $22 and $25 for this pattern. So yeah, with the $1.99 Joann pattern sale, if I make a mistake on the Mimi one, I can always buy it again on another sale. You know what I'm saying? Am I going to repurchase this one? No. The only way I would repurchase this one is if I was making it for someone else as a gift. But definitely think I might try that Mimi G pattern. So that is all the deets for this version, and I can't wait to sew up my cream version and really show off with that one. Okay? So today I met up with a sewing friend, and this is very, very rare, friends, that I get to hang out with my friends that also like to sew in person. It was such a great time. It was so refreshing. It was really fun to hang out with someone that's interested in the same things that I'm interested in, and we might have very, you know, different styles and opinions about different things, but it's so much fun to be able to sit down and talk fashion with someone and DIY this and that. Someone that's actually interested in what I'm talking about and also has cool things to share with me. So it was so much fun, and I really enjoyed it. But This friend introduced me to a store in the Bay Area that I did not know exists. It's called East Bay Depot Creative Reuse, and it is in Oakland. And I was able to pick up some items that are pre-loved, right? So people donate craft supplies and other things that they no longer want, and other people can come in and thrift them, so buy them secondhand. And so the cool thing is that they have a really nice sizable sewing section. So there's fabric, lots of sewing notions, tools, tons of buttons, and you guys know how I feel about buttons, okay? And I found some really beautiful buttons. The buttons that I selected are definitely ones that I have projects in mind for that I hadn't purchased buttons for yet. But I also got some very basic colored buttons that will go with pretty much everything, or just like your standard button-ups. So I'm pleased about what I selected. All but one, I believe, is around the 5/8 inch mark. So I will insert a picture of what these look like, but I'll also try to hold them up in the camera so that you can see them as well. So some of these are really unique and special, at least I thought they were. This is one of them. Let's hope you can see that. Okay, such a pretty button with lots of gorgeous details on it. It is kind of like a, I would say like a cappuccino color. So beautiful. And then I got this one, which is a cream off-white type of color. So pretty. It has a couple of different shades swirled in there. So pretty. And then there's this gorgeous yellow buttons, and I have some yellow buttons, but none like this. Isn't that the problem with like someone who's addicted to buying sewing supplies? Is I have this, it's similar, but it's not this one. You feel like you have to have them all, or at least I do. It's such a problem. But anyways, it's a gorgeous button, and I really loved it. They had tons of these buttons. So I had plenty, and I was able to get between 9 and 15 of each of the ones that I liked, which is great because I can use them for more than one project, or I can use it for a button-up dress, and those take so many buttons, especially when you add buttons on wrist cuffs. So I was really excited to be able to find so many buttons in the same color, which is really hard to do when you are buying secondhand buttons. So this is another one that is a really gorgeous, like light brown taupey color. So pretty. Anyway, I also got some other colors, different sizes, slightly smaller. And they're just gorgeous. Let's see if I can show you both of them at the same time. Kind of, sort of. Really pretty, gorgeous orange with swirlies and a cream with swirlies, perfect for a button-up shirt. So those are the buttons that I picked up, and I'm thrilled about them. Again, I'll insert a picture so that you can see what they look like. I also got this pack of assortment of buttons, and this has not been used, which is really cool as well. And this is turtle shell buttons. They're not actually made from turtle shells, just so you know. But it was like very cheap, like $1.75, and the regular retail price is $6.99. But it's like a variety pack of buttons that you would find in your craft store like Michael's or even Joann. So this was a good value, and I really love to sort buttons. I think I've mentioned that several times on this channel, so I'm gonna have fun sorting this in different colors and size and all of that. So that'll be a fun project. I also bought more elastic. I always have to buy tons of elastic because I go through so much all the time. I use it for more than just your typical garment sewing. So I got 3 yards each of these elastic pieces. So I have the black and the white, and it's kind of like, it's not that super soft, bendy elastic, but it does have a good, it has good stretch, let's just say that. So I think it's going to be perfect for those waistbands that you don't want to easily fall on themselves, but it's not that super thick elastic that's uncomfortable in your waistband. So I got 3 yards of each color, and I'm happy about that. I don't remember what I paid for it, but it was super inexpensive. It came off of a large wheel of elastic, so really glad I found that. Also, my friend, while we were shopping, found this. It's the soft bra back extender. And you've probably seen these before, and it's basically to extend the bra band on a bra that is no longer fitting, but you can also sew this into garments. So I thought this would be really cool to add to my supplies. She also recommended this Susan Bates accessory. It's a stitch holder. So it's for knitting, and I was expressing my desire to actually return to working on those knitting projects I mentioned at the beginning of the year. So hopefully I can get to it because I have the yarn. I've started one of the projects halfway into it and then put it down and didn't finish it. And now we're getting closer to the time when I'm actually going to need a knitted scarf or shawl. So I need to finish that. Anyways, this is really cool to mark your place if you have to stop at any point. So glad that she told me what that was for, and I picked that up. I got these really cool brown and black shoelaces. They're 60 inches long, and I actually use these types of laces for sweatshirt hoodies for the drawstring around the hood. So, or you can also use it for a waistband, but I thought that fact that it's brown and black kind of makes it have a little bit of a style feature to it. So I definitely wanted to get these, and these were super inexpensive. I also got a couple of these sliders to add to my bag making collection. They had tons and tons and tons of stuff like this. And so next time when I want to make a bag, rather than placing an order on Wawak or going to Joann, I can just take a 10-15 minute drive over to this store and pick up all my bag making supplies there. And they had tons of bag making supplies. They also had lots of Velcro and all kinds of trim and stuff like that. It was the coolest place. I never would have even thought to stumble in that place, but they had so many wonderful tools and lots of fabric, lots of upholstery fabric, all kinds of stuff. I did get one piece of fabric, but I did almost get a few others that I just put back because it made no sense. I didn't need it. I wasn't there for fabric. I just wanted to go be nosy and see if I could find some tools, which I did. And then I also got this little box. This is something else that she found of the hook and eye closures. So yeah, I mean, there's always a pant pattern that requires these, and I will usually substitute it for a regular button and buttonhole, but to be able to add some the actual product to my stash will prepare me for the next time I make a pair of pants that requires it. So let me share with you the fabric that I picked up. I got 2.5 yards of this really gorgeous pinwheel corduroy fabric. It's nice and soft. Let's see, is there stretch to it? Yes, it is a stretch corduroy, which is perfect. Now my thought for this fabric was a very fitted pair of pants, or I could even make like a little pinafore dress out of this, and it will stretch over the hips, which I don't have much hips anyway, maybe stretch over the bust. But it's a really nice, soft, beautiful piece of fabric, and it was on the bolt, so I chose to get 2.5 yards. And it's because I have a feeling that because it's a stretch corduroy, if I got 3 yards, whatever was left over would probably just sit in my stash. My more sturdy corduroy fabrics, I could make a bag out of it like I did my bestie bag. Or something like that, but with a stretchy or corduroy, I just don't imagine that I would use the little bits that are left over. So I didn't want to be wasteful. So I got 2.5 yards of it, and that's going to be perfect to make a pair of pants. I believe this is 45 inch width. So it's not super, super wide, but it's going to be perfect for a small little project, perfect for fall. And yes, it's brown, almost the same color as my skin, and I don't care. I love it. So I'm definitely going to have fun with this piece of fabric, and I believe it was $7.50 a yard, something like that. So those are all the things that I picked up secondhand. I had so much fun. That's definitely going to be one of those places that I escape to when I want to do a little shopping but don't want to spend a lot of money, and I want to look for little tools. You never know what you're going to find in a place like that, so you have to be open-minded and just be excited to explore and see what you can find. So really nice little trip. Had a great time with my friend. Anyway, that's everything that I wanted to share with you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. Also, please return to my channel next week so that you can see another finished garment, possibly for fall, possibly for a special occasion, because I'm really trying to will myself to make a dress to wear to my sister's wedding, but regardless, I'll have something to share with you next Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day and a wonderful week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.